Okay. So we have already seen a local and global scope of a function. ठीक है? What if, and we know that key, we also know that when you have a variable defined in the body of the function, that is in the local scope of a function, it cannot be accessed from outside. Okay, agreed. Chalo, 100 class we will have something. Okay, so yes, so a function, a variable that is defined in the local scope of the function, okay, cannot be accessed from the global scope because function only exists so far as long as it is executing. Before calling the function and after the function doesn't exist. Okay. So now tell me one thing. What will happen if what will be the behavior what will be the behavior if what will be the behavior if we have two variables, one in local scope and another in global scope with same name or identifier. Example, let's say we have a is equals to 10 and then we define a function ABC, okay, which let's say does not accept anything, okay, and simply does some random calculations. We here also will define a function, a variable with the same name a, and we'll keep it 5, and then I'll do print a equals to a plus 5, print a, and print a, and then we have a is equals to, oh sorry, I'll simply call the function ABC, okay, and then print a. Can you tell me the output of this program? Guess.
10, 5, 10.
Uh,
10, 5, 10, sir. 10 again.
10, 5, 10.
And a 10 again, another.
Another 10. Okay. Rolvin believes this. Anyone else?
So there should be only three outputs according to the question.
3. But I have used 4 prints.
So I think it will be 5, 10, 10, 5.
Kevin is saying 5, 10, 10, 5. Okay. Anyone else?
So 10,
Huh?
5, it's the same as Rolvin, sir.
Same as Rolvin, 10, 10. Take it. Let us see. Dekho, basics will always be the same. That means variable in local scope is not connected to the variable in global scope. Okay? That means whatever happens inside the local scope of the function will have no reflection in the global scope. Okay? So if you are in the global scope, okay, let's say for example, this is the world. This is, let's say, global scope. And inside it, there is a function defined. Let's say this is a local scope. Here you have defined a as 10. Here you have defined a as 5. Now, this local scope will exist only when the function is called. Before that and after that, this has no existence. Okay? So, when you are defining this, let us dry run this. ठीक है, इसको dry run करते हैं. Okay. Now, what will happen when you start with line number 1? Variable will be created. देखो microphone mute कर लो अपना. Variable will be created with value 10 in the global scope, and identifier will be a. This is where in the global scope. Now, program execution, Python will see next few lines are function definition. It will simply check for syntax errors and will move ahead, because merely by defining the function does not get called. Okay? The function does not get called. So it will simply check for this. Okay, ये देखेगा syntax error है कि नहीं. If there is no syntax error, it will alarm mic को अपना mute कर लो. Okay. Right. So this portion will be simply sort of after verifying for syntax error, program execution will go to this line. Now, when you are at line here, this line, tell me, you are printing A. Are you in the global scope or the local scope? At this marked line, are we in the local scope or global scope?
Global scope.
Global scope, because it is not inside any function, right? So it is in the main program, that is in the global scope. So in the global scope, at this time, is this existing? Is local scope existing? Remember, local scope gets created only when it is called. Before that and after that, it has no existence, right? So जब ये line execute होगा, the call of the function, only during that period it will start executing one by one, and once it is done, it will come down to the next line and then at the before getting destroyed. ठीक है? So even at this line and at this line, this has no existence. So when you are talking about print A in the global scope, what is A? It will only see one A which is in this world, because this is not existing. ठीक है? So क्या print होगा? First output will be 10. Now, when you call this ABC, when this program execution comes to this line, as a result of this call, this function will get activated. Okay. This function will get activated, and then body will start executing. You have not passed any value, so I am not collecting any value here in the parameter. Okay. So it will get here. Now, in this phase, when it is executing this line, this will come into existence. This will pop up. Okay. At that time only, you will see that this A will get created in the local scope. A local scope with the value 5. Now, when you are inside this house, okay, when and somebody asks you what is the value of A, The immediate A that you are going to see will be this one, because outside world, let's say the doors and windows are closed, you cannot see. ठीक है? For now, अभी समझने के लिए समझ लो कि when you are in the local scope, the preference is always given to the variables in the local scope, even if there is a variable in the global scope with the same name. ठीक है? तो अब यहाँ पे आके when you are writing a variable gets created in the local scope with a equals to 5. When you refer to a, it will always refer to the variable in the local scope. ठीक है? Because you are in the local scope. So a क्या होगा? 5 print करेगा. Second output will be 5. Then you will come down in the next line. You will increment the value of a by 5, and then a becomes 10. And this,
Sir,
yeah.
sir, I didn't understand how 10 came, sir. The first one, first output.
First output.
Yes,
अच्छा
sir.
ये बताओ, first this line will get executed or first this line will get executed?
The print A, the first one.
Print A, the first one, right?
Yes.
So you tell me,
Is it directly from the first line, sir? The
yeah.
value of...
See,
Okay, sir.
why you are getting confused is because you are seeing this function definition is coming here before. So this print should be executed first. No, but remember, why this won't be executed first? Because this portion of code won't be executed till the time it is called.
So because it's in the local scope, sir.
नहीं, यहाँ पे तो देखो सुनो, let me complete. It is called. Merely by writing definition of a function does not come into existence. There is no global scope. Sorry, there is no local scope. ठीक है? जब Python program में, whenever Python encounters these definition, def keyword and the definition of a function, it does nothing. It just ignores it like comment. But only difference is that here it will check for syntax error and all, but it won't do any processing in its memory. It won't use the CPU of the computer. It will simply ignore these set of lines. Nothing will happen. Okay. Oh, it will only processor or the program or the computer will or the Python will only execute these set of lines when you call this by writing the name separately. ठीक है? तो first line क्या होगा when you execute it, when actually the program is executing, first line number 1 gets executed, that is this one. Let's say this is line number 1, this is line number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so what happens? It will execute line number 1, it will create a variable. This is execution of line number 1. Okay, then this result, उसके बाद क्या होगा? It will see line number 2. It will sees function definition. It knows that. एक मिनट रुक जाओ अंकल. I'll tell you. First, let me explain it. Computer or the Python knows that merely by defining the function, it has got nothing to do with it. ठीक है? It won't take any action. It simply knows that okay, something is to be done when this name will be called separately. Okay, so it will simply see these lines, line number 2 to 6. It will keep in its mind that whenever this is called, then I will do this set of activities till the time I don't have to do anything else. Okay, so what happens? Line number 2 to 6 will be 2 to 6 won't execute on its own. ठीक है? It will simply check for syntax error and proceed to line number 7. In the line number 7, what you are saying is print A. So what is A? See, now you will say why not this A, sir? This A has not come into existence. Why? Because Python has not done anything. Computer has not taken any action to create this local scope or this function. अभी तक कुछ ऐसा हुआ ही नहीं है. हाँ, yes, that is what I was saying, Kevin, कि जब तक उसको कॉल नहीं करेंगे ना, ये वर्ल्ड आएगा ही नहीं एग्जिस्टेंस में. और ये कुछ नहीं है. It is simply some lines written for which Python has not done anything. Okay. So 2 to 6 won't be executed when you are coming from line number 1 to 7. ठीक है. Line number 7 में when you say print A, this 2 to 6 has not resulted in anything. What is A? So far A is only in the global scope, so it will print or displays first output number 1, which is 10. Okay. When you are coming to, after executing this line number 7, it goes to line number 8. Okay. When you go to line number 8, what happens? A function is called. Okay. Now Python knows, computer knows कि ABC you had told कि keep in mind कि whenever I say call ABC, then you do this sort of work, this set of work. Now it has been called or invoked. Okay, called here. Called or invoked here. Right. So now what will happen? Now this local scope comes into existence. So here, as a result of the execution of line number 8, function comes into existence with its local scope. That is its body part. उसके बाद क्या होगा? In the local scope of the function, as a part of executing the body, the local scope में क्या होगा? मान लो ये local scope है function का. In this local scope, what will happen? You will define A define करोगे, which is 5. This A is different from this A. This A is a separate variable created in the global scope. It is not destroyed. It is existing. Okay. But for now, you have created another variable into the function which has just come into existence. ठीक है. तो अभी वो लोकल फंक्शन एक बना है, उस फंक्शन के अंदर में एक वेरिएबल क्रिएट हुआ है. ठीक है. अब न्यू वेरिएबल हैज बीन क्रिएटेड इनसाइड द फंक्शन. Now when you say print A, if you are inside a function, all the programming languages follows one single rule.
So we can say it as defunct.
We
can say it is defunct.
Defunct means what? What are you suggesting by defunct? Defunct का तो बहुत meaning होता है. Defunct मतलब होता है कि no more, it will be not used.
Means not existing.
By वही तो बोल रहा हूँ. Before you call it and after you call it, the function won't exist. ठीक है. But when it is executing here, when you have called it, and when it has gone inside, then a function has come into existence as a result of execution of line number 8. और उसके बाद मेमोरी में एक फंक्शन बनेगा जिसमें अलग सेट ऑफ वैल्यूज बनेगा. This A is different from this because this A is a variable in the global scope. This A is a variable created due to the execution of line number 8 and will continue to be in the existence so far or as long as this set of code is being executed. तो पहले फर्स्ट लाइन एग्जीक्यूट होगा, A बनेगा. When you say print A, अब क्या होगा? Output will be printed by the local scope of the function, and when you are using this A, remember, like I was saying, there is a rule that if a variable is named or used inside the local scope of the function, priority is always given to the variable defined in the local scope. ठीक है? Even if there is a variable existing in the global scope with the same name. तो यहाँ local scope में A बोलोगे तो first it will give priority to the variable in the local scope. तो local scope में A दिखा, it found. So it will print output number 2 will be, first output will be 10, second output will be, this is printed by global scope. This output 2 is printed by, now if you are telling ki print 5, display 5, because A, if you are referring from local scope, so A will be the local variable. Okay, so local variable A has value 5, so output will be 5. This will be printed from the local scope. Next line, A is equals to A plus 5. Which A will be modified? The A in the local scope will be modified. This A will become 10 in the local scope. Okay, And then the moment this A becomes 10, uske baad next line of this local scope will be executed, which is print A. What is print A? That will be output number 3. A has become 10, so it will print 10. And this is again printed by the local scope. Okay? So next line will be iska space nahi hai, so I have not written. But here after this in the local scope itself, kar hi dekho, ruk jao. Okay. Right. यहाँ पे क्या होगा? Display A, and what is A? Current value of A, local variable A is 10. Okay. Once this line is executed, last line of the function is executed, so it will again come back to the place where it was called. Remember, we saw in the last class, after the execution is done, the function call comes back to the line from where it was called, and then it will proceed to the next line. The moment it comes back and proceeds to the next line, this thing gets destroyed. Okay, now there is nothing like these things. Whatever happened has been lost. Now you have again come back to the global scope, and line number 9 will be executed. Line number 9 will be executed. As a part of the execution of line number 9, you are now telling ki print A. Is there any function existing? No. Is there any local scope existing? No, because execution of the function call is complete. Now it has got destroyed. So no. What are the different variables with the name A available? Only one type, that is in the global scope. So a call in the reference to the variable A will always result in call in the global scope will always result in using the value in the local scope. तो याद रखो कि जिस स्कोप में रहोगे ना, जब उस वेरिएबल को यूज कर रहे हो, that variable in that scope only will be used. If you are using or referring to a variable in the local scope, variable in the local scope will be used. If you are using a variable in the global scope, variable in the global scope will be used. Now tell me, in this while, has this been modified? क्या तुमने global scope के A को touch किया? Did you ever touch this global scope A?
No, sir.
No. Separate A was created in a different world during the call. जब तक line number 8 के result के कारण this was executing. Only for that period, a different world came into existence with some different set of activities taking place. Once you came to line number 9, that world got destroyed. There is nothing as such existing. कुछ है ही नहीं. Only A remaining is in the global scope. And that global scope, when you are saying print A, it will print the global scope A. So output 3, output 4 will be generated as 10, which will be printed from global scope. Okay, and the variables in the global scope are global variable. The variables in the local scope of a function are the local variables. Sort of पैरेलल भी नहीं बोल सकते हैं. यूनिवर्स के अंदर में एक यूनिवर्स बन जाता है जिसको बाहर वाले यूनिवर्स से मतलब नहीं है. A universe within a universe is created which has got nothing much to do with the outside universe, but it will be transient. For very small period of time it will be existing. Okay, ये बताओ, ये this concept is clear कि what will happen if you have a variable existing, two variables with the same name existing in both the global and the local scopes? How will be the behavior? सब कोई बताओ. Girls, नैनिका, समझ में आया? Did you understand? Is she there? नैनिका, पूजा.
Yes, sir.
Okay, understood ना? Doubt नहीं है ना?
No, sir, I understood.
Very good. ठीक है. पूजा is there? पूजा, रुचिका, तुम लोग भी बता दो so that I can proceed. Okay.
Yes, sir. Understood, sir.
Great. ठीक है. We'll see one more scenario. And that scenario is, okay, what if you refer to a variable defined in global scope in the local scope of a function. Function during the execution of the function. Function. That means key, for example, a is equals to 10, def abc. Okay, then you will write print a. Okay, and here also you will write यहाँ पे print नहीं लिखते हैं. What do you think should happen? Sir, why in PyCharm run shortcut is not available? It is there. कौन बोल दिया run shortcut नहीं है?
A is not defined, sir.
A is not defined. देखो तो यहाँ पे run
Error.
error आएगा. Okay. No, it will work. The reverse will not work. That is, if you are trying to access a variable from the global scope to the local scope, okay, then it won't work, because when you are trying to use, the function won't be existing, because the function only exists until the time it is executing. Okay. So इसमें क्या होता है? What will happen is, if I dry run it, ठीक है, dry run में क्या होगा? देखो, first line, this is, let's say, line number 1, this is line number 2, line number 3, line number 4. As a part of execution of line number 1, a memory location will be reserved, will be identified as A with a value 10 inside it, and this will be defined in the global scope of the program. Right? Line number 2 and 3 will not be processed.
Sir, so it will be an empty program.
देखते हैं. Processed at this time. Only syntax checking will be done. Syntax means कि वो सही ढंग से लिखा गया है या नहीं, grammar is correct or not. Checking will be done. Okay, so it has nothing has happened, because the function, by merely defining the function does not come into existence. It's just an indication to the program computer. In future, if I call something with this name, then only you do something in your memory related to the action specified within the block of this function name. Okay. Now it will come to line number 4. Now line number 4, when you call, what will happen? Function call. Function ABC is invoked or called as per definition above, and comes into existence. Then its block, that is the block of the function, its block, that is local scope, starts executing. Okay, starts executing. Right. So अब देखो क्या होगा. अब यहां आ गए हो. This another world will pop up for the time being. इसका नाम हो जाएगा ABC with no value passed from the main universe into this smaller world. ठीक है. So what will happen? It will, you will say, and what is happening here? कि outside world में A is 5 there, global scope. Now you are saying display A.
A is 10, sir.
Yeah, display A. So the rule is, this is the general rule in all programming languages, not only in Python. In any programming language, the concept is same. Local or global scope का concept same रहेगा. Okay. Rule is, if the variable referred in the local scope is, if the variable referred in the local scope is present in local scope, then use it. Else, that means if it is not present, else look into global scope and use it. Agar, even then, if not found, if not found in global scope also, in global scope also, then throw error, name does not exist. Error, name does not exist. Okay. ये concept समझ में आया? So if you referring to a variable in the local scope of a function, if a variable is already defined with assignment operator in the local scope, then you will it will use the variable definition as per the definition in the local scope. If it is not defined, then it will always use it will look into the outside world. It will open the window and will look out in the outside world. If it sees if it sees the variable A defined with the same name, then it will take that value and use it. Okay. ये समझ में आया concept?
Sir, but in the fourth line, we call the variable ABC.
Not variable ABC, function
The
ABC.
function ABC, but the function ABC is not defined, sir. So how can we call it?
Function ABC is defined, no? Line number 2 and 3, you have given the template of the
So,
function.
line number 2 and 3 will not be processed at that time.
First time it is not processed. Okay, but when it has reached line number 4, you have already provided a template which it has kept in mind. Python has kept in mind, okay, function definition is like that. If in future, if it is referred, I have to do this set of activities. So what I mean is, by line number 2 and 3 is not processed, it means it doesn't ignore it like it won't do any action, but it keeps in mind if in future if I get a name, so I'll have to refer back to this definition and we'll have to do the activities defined here inside it. Okay, so first time it does not do processing, but next time onwards when you call it, it will do the activities specified in the definition which it had ignored in the first go. इसके बाद फिर से करोगे लाइन नंबर 5 में अगेन इफ यू कॉल अगेन इट विल क्रिएट वंस न्यू, वो पुराना वाले में नहीं, अगेन न्यू फंक्शन वर्ल्ड विल कम इनटू एग्जिस्टेंस, दिस सेट ऑफ एक्टिविटीज विल बी डन. तो जितने बार इसको बोलोगे उतने टाइम, the number of times you call it, the same number of times this will come into existence, get destroyed. Comes into existence, get destroyed.
Sir,
Ankit, हाँ. Just a minute.
yes.
First, let him tell if he has understood or if he has doubt. बताओ क्या doubt है? Ankit, where he has gone?
So he's
Sir, he wrote
replied
in
the
chat.
Chat में तो मेरा update नहीं हुआ है. अच्छा, understood, sir. Okay. हाँ. Yes, Ralvin, you were saying something.
Sir, in between the third and the fourth line, if we add another line that says A is equal to 5.
Yeah, you tell me. A is equals to
5.
Okay, let's modify it. What I'll do is I'll create new page. We'll come back to the previous page. We'll copy this set of lines. Go to the next page. We'll paste it. Now you tell me how you want to modify it. In this line, you want to add A is equals to, let's say 5. Okay. So now this becomes line number 4. This is in the global scope and this becomes line number 5. Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. अब देखो. You tell me what happened. Dry run करो इसको. Line number 1. A variable is created in the main program, that is the global scope, with identifier A in the global scope and having the value 10 integer type literal 10 in it. Line number 2 and 3. Okay. Just checks for error and proceeds. Checks for errors and proceeds. And also keeps in mind, in future, if some name is called like this, then I will do this sort of activities. Right now, I don't have to do anything. Okay. Right. Now, line number 5, as a part of execution of line number 4, sorry. Line number 4, you are telling modify A to 5. Now you tell me one thing. A, how many A's are existing when you are there in line number 4?
Before line number 4 executes 1, after it executes 2.
Wait. So at line number 4, okay, at line number 4, only one A is there in the global scope. So
Yes.
let's say you will have an identifier with the variable 5 changed. Okay, this is also in the global scope. So memory location having 5 is having the latest identifier A. Now when it reaches the line number 5, function gets invoked. Function ABC gets invoked. Okay. Now what happens? Its separate own area is created, which is known as local scope. In this local scope, you say display A. What is A? Is the A existing? देखो rule क्या है? अगर A exist करता है, if A is existing in the local scope of the function, ठीक है? Then use that A. If it is not existing, then peep out and search in the global scope. Is it existing in the local scope? No. Then it will search out in the global scope and it will look for the value of latest value of A. It will find as 5. ठीक है? So it will use that value. Output will be 5. When it comes to line number 6, where it finds no command, it gets destroyed. Immediately after printing 5, okay, this will get destroyed. Destroyed after processing. That means in the next line, if you again call ABC, then this is not existing. Again, another scope will be created in a separate location. Then this set of activities defined in ABC. Here, the only one statement is there. Again, it will be done. It is not that it is existing and this will continue again executing once again. This gets destroyed. Line number next, again it has come to global scope. When it has come to global scope, there is no such existence. If it again finds a function call, again it will be created. Okay. So this is how it works. Output will be 5, yes. So Rolvin, tell me, have you understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, one final example. Just a minute. Right, हो गया ये. 1 minute. Yeah. Let's say in this program, I make some modifications. Okay. What will happen?
Error.
Error, sir.
Error. Okay, let us check.
It should display 5, sir.
It should display 5. Achha.
Because you said it will check in the global variable.
Just a minute. 12:41. Scope and global scope. ठीक है. A is equals to, हमें यहाँ नहीं देना है. Def okay. Sorry. A is equals to 5. Let us execute it. क्या हुआ? Name A is not defined. Can you tell me why?
Because function is before that A is equal to 5.
Function call is before line number 5 is executed, and before line number 5 is executed, when function is invoked, that is in line number 4, at that time there is no variable A existing in the global scope. The variable A will be created only after the function execution is complete. So what happens? Line number 1 and 2 will start executing. Being a function definition, it will simply check for syntax error and keep in mind that later on when this name is called, I have to do this sort of this activities defined in its block. Then it will come to line number 4. Okay, here the 3 to empty line hai, so nothing will happen. Line number 4 it will come. It will invoke the function. A new world or a new function scope will pop up into existence. Okay, and it will try to execute its block in the local scope. As a part of the execution of the block in the local scope, print A will be executed, wherein you are trying to print the value of the variable symbolized by A or identified by A. So first, it will try to look into the local scope of the function itself. So function के body में तो कोई तुमने A define कर नहीं रखा. You have not defined anything in the body of the function. So what it will do? It will then peep out of the function and will check in the global scope. So far, till line number 4, there is no definition of function in the global scope. Okay? So it won't find anything. And we have seen that in this rule, कि अगर वो कहीं नहीं मिलता है, if it is not found in the global scope also, then throws an error, name does not exist, या name not defined. Okay? Where did I go? Wait. So here, In this case, you will have error. Error at which line? एक मिनट अमित कॉल करते हैं आपको 10 मिनट में हाँ so error will be where as a part of the function execution this will result in error as a is yet to be defined in global scope. Also, there is no local variable declared in the local scope. Local variable with identifier A, local variable A declared in local scope. तो कहीं नहीं मिला इसे ना इसे लोकल स्कोप में मिला. I did not get in the local scope nor in the global scope. ठीक है ये समझ में आ गया all the possible cases. There is one more case जो हम लोग कल देखेंगे. ठीक है तो remind me कि we have to see one more thing. So far good. समझ में आया? Is it clear? Let me know if it is clear. Then we'll wind up for today. बताओ.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good. अभी who is that? अभय.
Yes, sir.
अभय को लगता है मतलब क्लास खत्म करके एकदम जाना है तुरंत. Because first time he has spoken
No,
to
sir.
me. Okay, ठीक है. Anyways,
No,
I
sir,
also
not
want to
like
run. I am not sure about you people, but I want to run. I'm too tired. Not run exactly. I'll go and sleep. ठीक है चलो. If it is clear to all, we'll end up the class here. Thank you so much for your patience.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.